Hello, everyone, and welcome to State of the Realm, your weekly Final Fantasy XIV podcast. This week, it needs no introduction. It's Spoilercast. We said that would be the show. We're going to be doing, this is part one, because we don't have all of patch 5.5 story yet, but we're going to need 2 episodes for this. Let's just be honest about that. And to talk about that, I'm one of your hosts who is the second runner-up in Zivia for some time now. Quite proud of that title. Mr. Happy, of course, is the recurring champion of Zivia, who I'm sure is going to continue to be the case. Sly, how are you doing?
Hi, I'm doing okay. Doing all right.
You doing all right?
Productive day.
Yeah, you said earlier you got your second shot. You're doing okay. Your vaccine shot.
Mm-hmm.
Good. Glad to hear it. I'm getting my first after the show is done today.
Let's go.
I'm ready for it. Yeah, I cooked food ahead of time, so I don't have to cook tonight. So that's it. Just gotta drink a ton of water after that. And a man who is a mustachioed man nodding, who knows more than both of us combined, it seems, most of the time. Ethys.
I mean, you say that, but I've actually never once won Zivia.
That's not true.
Like, not even one time.
That's not true.
I've never won
it. True. You win every time because you make both of us look stupid.
Yeah.
I get 0 points. I've never scored a point.
You've given yourself a point before. You know that, right?
You know that, right?
Yeah, you have.
Yes.
That does sound like me.
And we've competed. We've made you be the sole competitor, which means you're the only one who wins. Yeah, back in Heaven's Word,
really?
we made you compete, and all you did was complain that our questions were shitty.
And you hated our questions.
Yeah.
I have no recollection of that.
I do.
There is, you know, there's video proof of this, right?
That must like 6 years ago.
The questions were that bad that you don't remember.
The questions were terrible. He would answer it and just tell us how shit the question was.
No, he wouldn't even answer it because we'd ask him like specific names
he would
and
actually
dates.
answer. He would try to answer the question at least, and then tell us how shit the question was. And he's laughing because it's true.
No, he's not because he doesn't remember it, but he knows.
Yeah, I'm laughing because I don't remember, but I know like there is no way you can make that up. That is absolutely me to a T.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. We're aware.
That's our boy.
Beautiful.
Wow.
Well, we're doing Spoilercast today, finally.
Yeah.
But I think you've got some sponsors, some housekeeping to do first.
Yeah, we have our usual sponsors. That's no additional, no cutaway to an ad this week. Just Steel Series with the giveaway, like we always have, the discount code, which is now just Mr. Happy. You don't even need the numbers anymore. They just fixed it.
Ooh.
So it's just Mr. Happy now for the discount. And then also our sponsors over on Patreon, who I actually think somebody just sponsored not too long ago. Yeah, they didn't send me a message with a shout-out name, so I'll just call them Lucas. Thank you. In addition, Lucas. So I did get the sponsor list working on last week's episode. It didn't crash the render. It also took 6 hours to render, just to add the names.
Oh,
wow.
Congratulations.
That's my fault because I made it 1080p 60 FPS for no reason when it's a podcast. That's my fault.
The funny thing, like, I didn't hear any OBS complaints in pre-show.
Well, that's because I didn't even remotely attempt to do anything that would result in a complaint.
All right.
So that's fine. Like I said, new PC soon. It's fine. I'll have my new PC soon, and then when it doesn't work still, I can be very upset with OBS in particular. And that'll be fine. But thank you to our sponsors over on Patreon, and thank you to, and I'll try to get the names. I'm going to lower the quality of the video, but I'm going to try to get those names there again. It's going to be 720, 30 FPS, though. There's no reason you need to see our faces in 1080p. Most of you are tabbed out right now. Be honest.
Yeah.
Like, that's fine. You especially don't want to see Ethys' face right now.
No.
All right. With that, I want to start this on the wrong foot. Because
I'll rip the band-aid off there.
Well, only because it's a quick band-aid. It's a quick rip. So obviously people want us to talk about the MSQ, which we only have the first half of. They want us to talk about Whirlit, which is now concluded. Obviously, we have anticipations for Boja, which will be present in our second spoiler cast later on. And right now we have the Ishgard quests ongoing, the custom deliveries. So there's a few different things to pull apart here ahead of FanFest. There's one thing we thought we'd be able to talk about today that we can't talk about too much, and that is Nier. Because we learned a very important lesson this week. It's not 3 weeks of quests. It's 6 weeks of quests.
Okay. Can I just get something out the way first of all?
Okay.
Please.
I like how I had this expectation. You know, like first week we had the doomsaying dwarf.
Yeah.
And we had to do something for him, yada yada yada. And before that, you just go into the bunker, get your machine parts, come out, and then hey, the doomsaying dwarf, he's there. This week, I'm like, okay. All right, after doomsaying dwarf, hey, we get a new dwarf. We get a new dwarf, dour dwarf. All right. And I'm pressing the button, like, wait, why can't I do anything? It's like, yeah, you gotta wait till next week. The fuck you mean I gotta wait till next week? I just got him today. You give us a new toy and we can't do shit with it until next week? Are you fucking serious? Bruh, I'm so goddamn mad. Man, go ahead, Ethys.
I think I've cracked the code. When it was first announced, and also after 5.1, there were a couple of interviews with Yoko Taro because like everyone wanted to get on that. Like every kind of major outlet wanted to kind of explore this collaboration. And a lot of them were talking about his writing process and the fact that he's talked about how the way he's written the Nier games and the Drakengard games is that he starts at the end and then he goes back to the beginning and sort of works his way through to kind of reach that conclusion, reach that final set piece. And what he was saying with Your Heart Dark Apocalypse is that he hadn't finished it yet. He didn't know where it was going. And that he was going to yes, and that he was going to figure it out, and that he was going to make sure there was like a really epic conclusion for the final raid, but he didn't know what it was going to be yet, and that he was going to be like looking at player feedback and just kind of filling it out as he went. So I'm over here thinking maybe he's just extended his deadline a little bit. Maybe he was watching State of the Realm last week and thinking, oh, that wasn't the conclusion they wanted. That wasn't as epic and wonderful a set piece as perhaps they were hoping. Okay, give me 3 more weeks.
Or, you know, maybe he's just moving the goalpost like we thought. And
of course he is.
This man. Yeah.
Of course he is.
All right.
Yeah.
Go ahead, Mike.
I'm still waiting till our part 2 spoiler cast to judge it. Because I promised I would.
But I'm beginning to think I can't keep that promise.
If
they're going to keep moving the goal. Good. Great. We'll need somebody to at least. But man, I'm fighting every ounce of my being to just fucking go off on Nier. Like I tried to be optimistic for it. I really did. I gave it a shot, Mike.
Well, so the big thing for me is
tough.
I don't want to wait because, you know, as much as I'm waiting till the end to judge it, and we'll talk about what specifics there are because they're leaving all the specifics for the weekly quests is the big problem with this patch is pretty much all the details are either in people who played Drakengard 3 very specifically, and a little bit of Nier replica. I mean, you basically have to have explored more of the Draken Nier than just Automata to really understand this patch. Yeah. Fortunately, I have. I have more experience with Drakengard as a series than I do Nier, personally. But that being said, I don't think this idea of having weekly quests that gate story and keep you going along, I don't think it's necessarily a bad thing. I think it's just we're so predisposed to almost not wanting for it to be good or just having no hope for it, that it'll end in a way that's satisfactory to us, being what it's been so far. That it looks worse now, like Sly is saying, like just let me fucking get it over with. Don't give me new shit and then make me wait again. Like that's I feel like that's not a bad, because one thing I've actually liked Nier for is that it's filled in between patches with story stuff. Something I wish Eden had done. Something I wish they'd done with old series. And something I want them to do in the future. So I'm not that opposed to this, but this This is more like just Yoko Taro-isms for like making us wait to like find out the true ending kind of thing, you know?
Yeah, I agree. I think like the format is compelling enough, just not so much the content so far.
Right.
So I've done a little bit of digging this past week, as you can probably tell through Yoko Taro interviews regarding this crossover. And there's this apocrypha sort of that's been floating around since it was first announced that honestly, I might be partially responsible for disseminating. I'm not really sure. I don't really remember at this point. But basically that Yoko Taro said that this was going to be canon for Nier.
Right.
I'm sure we've all heard that. And I've been looking through like a lot of forums and stuff where people have been discussing this and people saying like, oh no, Yoko Taro said multiple times that this was canon for Nier with no reference whatsoever. Except to, oh, well, you know, someone translated when they first announced it that he said he was going to be canon. And I went through 3 different translations of like the initial announcement at FanFest in 2018. At no point does he say that it's going to be canon for Nier. And when he's asked about it in, I found 4 different interviews where he's asked like basically straight up. And off the top of my head, I remember one of them he started talking about tofu. And another one he started talking about playing with his nieces, just completely like non sequitur, obviously just completely avoiding the question and doing his typical kind of Yoko Taro trolley bullshit. So he's never said that. If anyone, okay, this is going to be some homework for the Nier stance. I would consider this a personal favor. If anyone knows and can find it, can actually link a reference where he's actually said that it's canon for Nier, then I will shout you out. I will be like so stoked and so delighted, and I'll make a dedicated video about how clever you are. Okay? But you won't find it. I can pretty much guarantee you won't find it. So I think we need to finally put this to bed. I think this is the last opportunity we're really going to get to do this. We need to put to bed this idea of Nier being canon to 14 and 14 being canon to Nier. Can we get on board with that? Is that kind of jumping the gun at this point? Do we need to wait another 5 weeks?
I mean, you've done the research on the Yoko Taro part. I don't know about the Yoshi P part.
Yeah, he's also like not spoken to it. And again, it's because they didn't know how it was going to end. It's because like all these interviews, you know, at the latest at 5.1, Yoko Taro's saying, I don't know how it's going to end yet. I haven't figured it out yet. We'll just get to something. It'll be cool. Don't worry about it. And Yoshi P is like, oh, I don't know. Yoko Taro is writing it. Ask him. Ask him and ask Oda-san. Because Oda-san is apparently his keeper.
I was going to say filter. When it comes to the way this story played out, because I'm sure it had to go through Oda-san, and he was just like, I don't know about that.
Now that said, there is definitely something going on with the Seeds of Destruction and the whole like white chlorination syndrome. So you know like the Drakengard story like fairly well, Mike?
Better than I know the Nier story, but okay. Keep in mind I haven't actually played Drakengard in over 10 years. Any of them, I mean.
Okay. So
but I know generally what's happening here, yes.
I'm going to make some kind of sweeping statements here and just tell me if I'm way off track. Okay. So the white chlorination is caused by a dead giant or a dead god or something like that. And it like infects people, and then they make a pact with this god, which turns their eyes red. And then they get bent on destroying the world in the name of this god. And when they die, they make a seed of destruction, which like replicates them.
And then seeks out other worlds and then does, yeah.
Yeah, and then seeks out, yeah. And what we're being told through these logs from Konog. Is it Konog? Is it Konog or Anog? It's Konog, right?
Yeah, Anog's the one that's missing.
Yeah. Right, yeah. So what we're being told through these logs of Konog is basically that this is a seed of destruction. This sphere, basically, is being, transferred across various worlds, and when it gets there, it's replicating the machine life forms and trying to destroy that world. And that's all we've got, basically. That's it. That's all we've got.
Yeah. And very specifically, the very final boss sequence is a reference to an ending from Drakengard 3.
Right.
The Tokyo, where they destroyed Japan, and that's what the destroyed Tokyo eventually becomes to look like. Yeah.
Right. And like in between all of that, there's plenty of allusions to the Drakengard-averse that are obvious allusions and may or may not be trying to make some sort of indications to like how this is working in 14. But anything beyond what we've just stated is basically speculation at this point.
And that's what they want. Above all else, the next 6 weeks are about fueling people's speculation, and then it'll at least explain it to an end that Yoko Taro finds acceptable. Which is normally to give you an ending, but still kind of lets you think a little. Like you could read it for what it is on the surface, but you could also try to loosely tie it to any of the other games or stories in the franchises. Because he doesn't like to say this is a sequel. He likes to say this is something that happens based on a result of something else. It's kind of like how the Evil East games aren't connected, but they happen to take place, like you can find like overlaps and stuff and references, just a little bit more on the crazy side when it comes to the Drakengard series.
Yeah. Yeah, that's basically where I'm at the moment. I'm thinking that, going right back to the beginning, Yoko Taro's reluctance to sort of answer that question of whether or not there's a canonical tie is like, well, it's up to you, right?
Yeah.
Well, I mean, on one case he doesn't know and probably doesn't care all that much. Like, I don't think he's sort of looking at his previous games. I don't think he really cares that much about having a super strict kind of continuity between games. It's just
he doesn't. He doesn't. He just makes things happen. He's like, oh well, the world continued on after so and so ending. This is a story taking place in that world.
Yeah. So basically, it's up to us. It's canon in the same way, like whatever you think is happening is canon in the same way that whatever your Warrior of Light looks like is canon. Whatever your Warrior of Light's background story is canon to you, to your story, to your adventure. You figure it out. That's kind of where I'm landing on it. But I mean, one of the dwarves has gotten sick. It looks like one of the dwarves might have the white chlorination syndrome. And maybe we're going to have to deal with some of them going red eyes and, I don't know, probably get some heckin' porksies, right? Like, that's...
Would make sense.
Is that gonna be it? Are we going to have to go get some porksies?
To go get Beck
Yeah. And Beck-Lug's going to be like, oh, this kind of looks like the flood of light in the city. There's similar, polarizing of their internal ether. I don't know. I'm not really expecting the next 5 weeks to kind of blow my mind.
See, I like that it's at least somewhat open-ended at the moment, but unfortunately, it's yet to be at the point where I could say I'm liking it, or I've liked it, or it's paid off, or it's all come to. That's again, I'm waiting for that magical 6 week, that 6th week, which will really be. That'll be 5.5 part 2 time. Like it's almost exactly overlapped. I think it's the week before we're done with it. If not the week of, if it's going to be end of May. So I'm really waiting for that, because if it keeps just being moments like this, which is kind of what it's been the entire time, it's been moments like this all the way up to now, then it's whatever. It'll be ripped apart, torn apart by the Nier fans and tied to everything and hit there, hit that. Fine, let them have their fun. I'll still keep shit talking it like I have for the past God knows how long. That's all there is.
Do we expect any kind of conclusion in terms of like an instance, like a single player instance, or
I do.
Yeah.
I actually think they're going to make us do the raid again at some point, and they're going to follow it up with like a cutscene, like the actual 24-man.
Okay.
It'll just be complete Puppets Bunker again, or because they're complaining. They're like, it's weird that none of that stuff disappeared, because according to the research, it should all go away when the Seed of Destruction is destroyed.
See, some people were thinking that like different ending, different enemies, things like that, different bosses. I wouldn't go that far. I think it's just they just make us repeat the same content, and then you get a different cutscene. You get something. You get some kind of conclusion. I just want a conclusion. I'm done.
I think at the most you'll see the dialogue from Titan Hard Mode when we were doing it for 3.4, how his dialogue changed to be his parents essentially talking to him. Yeah, that's at the most. That's how I see, and then a cutscene following it up. Yeah, I am being very reserved right now because if I go off on it now, I'm breaking all promises. All I keep telling myself is just wait until it's done.
One goddamn promise.
I did.
Fuck all that.
I
you
made
did.
That promise.
Good for you.
I did.
Yeah.
So we'll go off on it in 5 weeks, is what Mike's saying.
Well, 4 weeks now. Yeah.
4 weeks. We'll go off on it in 4 weeks.
Yeah.
All right. Sweet. Let's do it.
Yeah.
Sounds good.
I've had a lot of requests to get people on who know about Nier lore for the 14 show, and I can tell you right now, there is a 0 probability chance I ever commit a State of the Realm to anything about Nier in its entirety. I'm letting everyone know now there is a 0 probability of that happening.
Get Clemps on and give him like a little hourglass, right?
Yeah.
Just give him 1 minute.
You got 1 minute.
And then kick him off the call.
There's no chance I ever do a show entirely about Nier, which is what people have been asking me. It's not happening.
See, I mean that's along the same lines of having Fold on the show. Yeah, that's not happening. Gonna happen.
No,
yeah,
that's too much. Well, we've already given it 20 minutes, and I can tell Mike's getting a bit salty. So maybe
I'm just clarifying with this because all week people have been asking, and I'm like, they're like, oh, you should do a show about the Nier raid, and I'm like, no.
Maybe you could take a week off. They
were like, do a talking about games, and I said, also, no.
No,
I don't really want to do that.
So that's all there is to it. Because why would I do it talking about games to talk about Nier's tie-ins to 14 if I'm not going to do it on the Final Fantasy 14 podcast that has Nier in it? The bottom line is we're not saying you can't like it. We're just letting you know that up to the current time, this is how we feel. And if that upsets you in any way, fuck you.
Tough titties.
That's all we're saying at this point. It's like.
I think it's real brave of you to say that after you've already alienated and ostracized every diehard Nier fan from this channel over the last 2 years.
I haven't done that. I think I like Nier Automata's story, and I think people should enjoy. People should enjoy.
You just
wait. Let me finish.
You wait until they're out of the room, and then you're like, "Fuck you."
No. I want them in the room. The New Jersey person in me wants them in there. No, and don't forget, guys, that you can buy Nier Replicant out now. Apparently, the PC port's not too great, which is not too much of a surprise after Automata. Nier Replicant out now, and in your box for Nier Replicant will come a reminder that you can play the critically acclaimed MMO RPG Final Fantasy XIV with all the jobs up to level 60, including Heavensward.
It's true.
So
it's true. So you can just pull that out and then
come back here, and then we can start it all over again. It's like a Yoko Taro storyline. Anyway, there you go. Done. On that note, let's talk about Final Fantasy XIV.
Yay!
Okay.
So, do we want to? I think Warlet and the MSQ are probably the two big ones. The custom deliveries are still ongoing. I hear they've been fun so far with Mr. Frilly Hat Man.
Right.
Yeah. So, where do we want to start? Do we want to start with the shorter and more concise Warlet, or do we want to start with the meat that is leading into Endwalkers of MSQ Part 1? I'll leave that up to you two.
Lord God.
I think we should do MSQ last.
Okay.
Because I want to leave that in people's palates. Leave that as
make them watch the whole show. It's weird. You'd think I would be doing that because this goes on my YouTube channel, but it's you. All right, that's fine. Ethys is farming the viewer minutes on YouTube more than I am. I appreciate that.
Well, now they know just to like skip forward now.
Yeah,
I
pretty
won't. You know
much.
what? I won't put a timestamp. You'll have to guess. You don't know where you'll end up. All right. So Whirlit would be the next bit, and this was this was quite a fitting end in a couple of different ways. Very much an ending inspired by the animes that inspire the series, the entire Whirlit series. And in every way, a gratifying thing for Final Fantasy XIV fans to get to enjoy at the end of it all. I feel like it hit both those marks. Yeah. I feel like it hit both of those marks on the nose, pretty much. It was beautiful in so many ways. So, Ethys, I got one question. And I think we asked you last week. I think Sly asked you this last week. Where do we stand on the fuck them kids moniker still? We've had another week to think about it.
I didn't. You know what? I'm just gonna have to pretend that I did like say that in those words, didn't I? Look, I am still salty that the closest we got to a Nero appearance was the sort of implication that he was piloting the second robot, right? Which was cool. I liked that. Is he avoiding Gaius? Is he worried that Gaius is going to be mad that he like ran out on him? I don't understand. But you know, Gaius, Cid, and Nero kind of had like this love triangle, right?
Yeah.
Where Cid was kind of one of Gaius's adopted kids, and Nero wanted to be. And Gaius was getting all the attention for his Magitech, which Nero also wanted.
You mean
and
Cid,
Nero was all,
Cid was
you know,
getting all the attention.
Yeah. Sorry, yes, yeah. And you know, Nero was all just like, "Notice me, senpai," and he never got that gratification. We had so many threads already in Gaius's backstory that I wish they'd kind of teased out and explored more. And I get that, like, they wanted to make Gaius more sympathetic. They wanted him to be more like complicated. They want him to be redeemable. And the only way I guess they could think of to balance like war crimes and imperialism was with war orphans, I guess. And they just went in so like hard on that. And the story wasn't about Gaius. It was about them, you know? Like Gaius got very little screen time and very little like actual kind of growth over the course of Whirlit. And I enjoyed what he did get, and I enjoyed what we did learn, but I just wish that the focus was more on his character and on Cid and on Nero and on his, I hesitate to say redemption, because I think a lot of people think the idea of like redeeming characters like Gaius and like $4 is a little bit problematic, and I suppose, you know, that's something we have to concede. But, you know, his arc, basically, I wish there was more focus on that.
So, Ethys, you said a lot of things there, but I noticed you didn't answer the question.
Didn't I? My position hasn't changed.
Okay.
My position has not significantly changed on them kids.
He don't give a shit about them kids. Same with Gaius. He didn't give a shit until the end. He don't give a fuck.
Unfortunate. See, I'm a fan of character development through legacy.
Okay.
And that is what those kids, that's basically the thing that drove those kids to do what they did, pretty much. Was trying to be his legacy. And I think I would like to believe Gaius sees them as his legacy essentially failing with all of them dying. He doesn't even see redemption in himself. Yeah. They wanted to, but man, they didn't. I mean, we know why they did what they did. It's all explicitly explained. We don't have to guess anything, thankfully. But I was...
Yeah, you're right, though. They made the same mistakes as he did, and he was not able to prevent them from doing so. They tripped up in exactly the same place in exactly the same way as he did. And I guess speaking of legacy, if Gaius had died here and we'd just been left with like, what's her name? Allie?
Yeah.
Would you be satisfied with that?
If she had the right setup for it and they didn't do it.
No, I'm not saying if. No, I'm not saying if. I'm saying like as she is. If Gaius just died at the end, just randomly died at the end, and we were left with Allie, and it's like, here you go. Here's the Gaius
just
legacy.
Ask for a different ending and then leave her exactly the same. How you get there is pretty important.
Then she would still, in a way, be a vegetable, correct? If Gaius died?
No, we'd probably have
going
fixed
under
her.
that
We're the Warrior of Light. We'd have fixed her.
Yeah.
You sure about that?
Yeah, we'd have gotten the core thing.
I mean, that would take a long. I feel like if Gaius had died, that would have been more like a Hollric situation where it's gonna take a little while for us to fix her. I mean, eventually we would, but it would take some time before we saw any return as opposed to the instant return we see now. So, I mean, vegetable or not, no, I don't think we would have been as happy.
I was kind of right, at least with the fact that everyone, you know what was really weird? Everyone kept trying to tell me, I had a lot of people tell me this. When we watched the trailer, we noticed Allie was in the diamond weapon, and she couldn't move it. You know how many people told me that the G-Warrior's cockpit looks the same? And I'm like, did you even do 5.3? We know exactly what the cockpit
Do you even robot, bro?
You know, I had a lot of people tell me that. They're like, no, the cockpit's exactly the same. And I'm like, did you even do 5.3? We know what the cockpit of the G-Warrior looks like. So I was glad I got to be somewhat right. Although she tried to steal it, but in a very Allie way of, yeah, I'll pilot it, of course. Idiot. Too bad her fucking aim was dog shit. I'm just saying.
It's not entirely clear to me why she actually fought us. Because she's managed to escape with it, right?
She's also not piloting
and is in control of it.
No, she's not piloting it.
No. She's not in control.
Yeah, she's not piloting it at all. That's Alphonse.
She's more of...
Yeah, Alphonse is more in control.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
Yeah, she goes... from what we learned, she goes into shock immediately upon Overmind occurring because she figures out it's Alphonse.
Right. Okay, but, same question. Like, why is Alphonse fighting us?
I don't think Alphonse has any... I think that's just... it's all fucked up. Like, you got to remember, his mind has been warped to be, like, part of this robot. It's not... They took all this time to try and do Oversoul, and then he decided to try something he didn't do before, that in Valens and his scientists. And it's... The result, I think, is just absolute haywire, like, brain going just completely...
Right. Mm-hmm. That's kind of what I thought, is that it had just gone ballistic and it was almost like the Aramatama.
Yeah, or even it could be we shot missiles at it and Allie's inside and Alphonse is like, I'm not gonna fucking...
That's fair.
No, don't touch my sister, no.
He yells that. I see now why they didn't want to pull him. I see now why he didn't want to pull Diamond Weapon, because the very first line is familiar male voice talking about protecting her. Yeah.
Yeah.
It's the very first line.
That's basically what I thought was going on. I was just wondering if perhaps I'd kind of missed some sort of nuance there. Yeah, he says, I won't let you harm my sister. Right. Yeah. So why did we shoot at it? Why didn't we just let it do its thing?
We didn't know what it was doing. We assumed that it was just, it had gone berserk. I think the entire point of this is they never knew what the weapons were particularly capable of, so eliminating them is just top priority. Mm-hmm. And I think that given Alphonse's mental state, given he's a robot now, probably a safe bet to knock that thing out. I like that the whole reason we do that whole thing is because we built a containment unit and it just fails. Mm-hmm. As soon as we beat it, it's like, that didn't work, and then it just fucking falls to the ground. I was like, so much for that fucking night. Sid, Nero, you guys couldn't get together on this one thing and make sure it worked?
Mm-hmm. Good.
There's something that I really like and I really find compelling about Alphonse, like, merging his soul with the Orocyte and becoming like a living core for the weapon. Because it's a theme that we've been seeing a lot of lately. But
that's literally
really
Zodiac
goes
and
back.
Hydaelyn, like in a way. That's,
Right. Yeah, exactly. But it goes back to Heaven's Ward. It goes back to Alexander with Diane, right?
Yeah.
How Diane became the living core for Alexander. And then in Stormblood, we got the... can't remember the name of the boss, the one that's guarding floor 30 of Heaven on High.
Oh, yeah. I know who you're talking
that
about.
Yeah. So that was the leader of the Onishishu, who basically sacrificed his life to power some kind of artificial core Orosite-like thing, right? And we've got this overlap between Orosite and Oversoul and Primals, right? All having this kind of similar concepts, right? Of like, we know souls can't be created, souls can't be entirely artificial. We have to get soul stuff from somewhere or someone in any of these instances. And all of these sort of deiform entities are kind of converging together, and we're beginning to sort of understand how they work, which I think is really interesting.
I'd say it's more so impressive that after all this time, it's maintained continuity. After all this was not always the plan. We know that this is not always how things happen. They write it that way, but that's just not how it works. So
yeah, it's definitely, they've just been like building on this concept, like piece by piece by piece by piece. And I think that when we're coming into Endwalker and coming to understand what Zodiac and Hydaelyn are, we're going to be looking at all of these pieces and seeing this kind of like, puzzle of this narrative arc kind of completed in front of us, which I'm really excited for. So this is another piece of that, which I found very compelling from a sort of world-building perspective. Even if I was just a little bit... Actually, I don't know. I think at first I was a little bit disappointed that we didn't have like a Xenos Oversoul that just went berserk, because that seemed to be like what they were sort of implying.
Yeah.
And that would have been a cool fight, but we've just fought Xenos so many times, and we're going to fight him again in like at least twice, right? I think we can agree that over the course of Endwalker, we're going to fight him at least twice. So it's probably just as well at the end of the day.
I think it's also fitting because we were worried about an Oversoul. We're like, this can't go well.
Yeah.
And it seems Valen's agreed. It's the only time I'll ever say that. Because it's like, this is a bad idea. I mean, generally the result they found was that Oversoul was just a problem. And that Overmind was probably going to be their better option. Realistically, it was.
Yeah.
Oh, man. Now, you're excited from a world-building perspective, but we have a mech head in here that I'm sure was excited for very different reasons. Although he's probably excited for some of the same reasons.
It bitches. It me.
It bitches. What?
Can you lay out like the allusions in this fight for us? Because we know that Yoshida's like a huge
mech head
Gunpla fan.
Yep.
He went into this a little bit last week, I remember.
A little bit.
Yeah, and again, the new G Warrior is the Dendrobium from Stardust Memory, 0083. The initial missile salvo is the Iwano Circus from Macross fame. And then you have the diamond weapon itself. When he gets to second phase, that just screamed Evangelion. Like when it goes berserk, that was that was just like berserk mode Evangelion, out of control, yada yada yada, and then it goes back. So,
and then you have the entire plot line of a soul merging with a robot, which is that's very, very. I had people in my chat referencing something specific when that was going on. I don't remember what it was. And having like
the entire theme in Evangelion as well.
Kinda. Again, Evangelion is just like, depending on which one you watch, it's just all over the place. There are other series that tried to do that as well, where like the soul kind of merges with the mech.
The whole family's in the Robot.
Yeah,
all the families in the Robot.
A lot of people were talking about Fullmetal Alchemist in reference to Alphonse as well.
That's a pretty on the nose one. It's not exactly the perfect, because he inhabits literally just hollowed out armor.
Yeah, armor.
Yeah, but this is just a more sophisticated version.
Yeah,
of
I guess that's true. I'll give you that.
It's also the same freaking name.
Yeah,
isn't it?
He does have the same name. It's hard to get around that. He does become a suit of armor in some way. Yeah, everyone's going over all the different things. It's just this again. I said this last week. This felt like a labor of love more than anything else. And you had mentioned the individual from Dad of Light, who was after he passed. Yeah, feeling like there was a bit of that channeled into this.
Yeah, I really think so.
Yeah, so
I'm glad there was.
That comes across both from a Final Fantasy perspective, and even as someone who's not big into anime, I don't as much as it leans into anime tropes, being that we're playing a Japanese developed game, it never really feels like it's going that much further beyond. I think the most anime trope is probably in 5.3 against the Sapphire weapon when we see the G Warrior for the first time.
Yeah.
Whereas the rest of this felt like you're like, oh yeah, that's pretty anime, but it's not like, I don't know, it's fitting, if that makes sense.
Well, it's also very classic Final Fantasy. Like the fight was very evocative of Final Fantasy X, like standing on the airship deck and fighting what's the second dragon? Yes, yeah. Felt very evocative of that to me. So yeah, it felt like right in place, didn't it?
Yeah, and then the end is just there to get you to cut onions. Like, you better be cutting onions at your desk so you can at least be prepping dinner while you're finishing it, because you might as well kill two birds with one stone on that one, because I had my camera off and I'm like, oh, thank God.
I am so happy that Gaius did get that vindication that we were hoping for. Yeah.
We got to see all the old guard in that moment. You get to see Ratatan, Nero, Livia. Yep. I mean, it's literally a slice in the life of not killing people, but still being a part of the Empire.
Yeah, that again, it comes back to this idea of whether or not these types of characters are capable of redemption, whether we should be allowing them redemption. And that's probably a little bit kind of outside the scope of what we're talking about today. But I got to admit, when I saw the Livia shade, my first reaction was, except you.
Yeah, I'm not gonna lie, I thought the same thing. Like,
oh, this is nice. Oh, look, Rattatan's there. Not you.
Yeah, because Ratatan, they established that the orphans had a pretty good just like friendship
relationship.
But I mean, they're literally both people who were conscripted into the Empire, so there's like a common ground there. So whereas
everything we've got from Livia is that she was a sociopath.
Yeah.
We already we established the canon that the 14th Legion were the ones that crushed the Dalmascan resistance, right? Like way back. And immediately when they decided that they were going to bring back Gaius's character and try to distance him from the war crimes, they were like, oh no, it wasn't the 14th Legion, it was just Livia, that was all her, she's a bitch, she's a crazy bitch. All that stuff about her meeting Gaius in his room, that's her, that's not him. That's her. All right, she's the shitty one. She hated all the other orphans. She was jealous, and they really did. They took all of the shitty things about Gaius and Gaius's actions, and they just dumped it all on her. I mean,
the writing does that, but you also get from the writing that Gaius doesn't at all think that Gaius holds himself accountable for pretty much everything. There's not a bit of his dialogue where he cops himself out.
Yeah, absolutely. I think when we are talking about redemption, and whether, you know, certain characters are deserving of it, or whether we find it kind of interesting or compelling stories, or whether it's, you know, something we kind of roll our eyes at being sort of like, you know, pro-imperialists, like propaganda or whatever. I always go back to that scene in 4.1 where they're discussing whether or not they're going to execute $4, right? And Raubon just sort of stands up and says like, hey, we Alamegans did awful, awful things during this war. We did awful things under Theodric in order to sort of, you know, survive before we actually got off our asses and decided enough is enough. We went along with the status quo. When we were fighting the Garleans, we did terrible, terrible things. These Garleans, 90% of them, over 90% of them are conscripted soldiers who are being held hostage, right? Their families are being held back in these provinces and being made, you know, sure under no uncertain terms that they will be killed if they, you know, dissent in any way. And the conclusion they arrived at was like, at some point, we have to stop executing each other. At some point, we just have to say, well, you know, what's left is what's left. Who's alive is who's alive. Let's realize that we've all done nasty, horrible things and try to find a way to move forward. And that's basically how I think we have to approach Gaius and Fodol and characters like this, right? Is that the characters that we love, characters like Merwin, characters like Raubon, even characters like Kani Senar, like the Pajali have got a dungeon where they tortured people for centuries. They've got a mansion up on the hill where they lived in luxury whilst talking about how much they loved the forest and how much everyone should live in you know, peace and complicité with the forest. Like, everyone sucks. And whether or not you agree with that, that's basically the direction that we're coming from with these characters, right?
Yeah. And we see that, I mean, we've been seeing that more and more. Even in, I think in 5.5, is it Ehrenwald who mentions Theodric? Somebody mentions Theodric in 5.5 in the MSQ. They mention how before, you know, before the Garleans came in, like, listen, we got Theodric.
Monago. I think Monago.
Yeah, there you go. Monago mentions it. There you go, yeah.
Yeah.
It's like, listen.
Again, in a sort of like very sort of subtle.
That's in Whirlit then, because she's only at the start of Whirlit. She's not in MSQ.
Yeah,
it's right at the start.
Whirlit. It's in Whirlit. But it's another one of those like really subtle sort of like backpedaling on Gaius. It was in the context of like, well, Gaius was nowhere near as bad as Theodric and was nowhere near as bad as Xenos. And like, he was actually pretty cool and pretty chill. I think we just have to accept that as kind of a retcon, really.
Yeah, I guess. I forgot about the part with Monago at the very beginning, where Gaius is like, yeah, they're picking me, you muted Sly. They're picking me to lead this resistance, I guess. I'm amazed they would look at me and be like, yeah, that guy. And he's like, okay, I can do this. I'll do it. This is, I'll do whatever I want. I'll do whatever you want me to do. I'll be your bitch now. That's it. And he does a good job. They don't lose that many lives thanks to us beating them. Well, to be fair, Alphonse pretty much does all the work for them before they get there.
Yeah.
One way or the other. But fortunately, they leave the end of... Well, I mean, Alphonse does get Valens, technically, although I'd say is...
In the end, yeah.
Yeah.
And the sound effects there is like a...
His head explodes.
Yeah, it's just... It really did not fit. I'm like, oh, okay, I mean, how else can you really like bring sound to somebody being crushed to fucking death? Like
by popping their fucking head
without it being as graphic. That's not what I was thinking.
No,
it was like pop, and then a little bit of like something going down a faucet.
Yeah, I mean that was Soken, right? Soken's the sound designer.
Yeah. But
so
that's a pretty satisfying scene.
Yeah, definitely. I mean, vindictive as hell, but fuck him, right?
Yeah, I mean it's It's a scene. So obviously we all knew when Diamond escaped, Valens didn't die. Like that was. It's like, listen, we've seen a weapon destroy a facility before, and their legatists get out of it. I've fucking been here before. This dude's not fucking dead. All right.
Oh, you know why it sounded so wet? It's probably because he was full of milk.
I don't know if that's the reason, Ethys.
That's probably it. That's got to be it, right?
I don't. I'm not 100% sure that that's the logic there.
Oh
man! But at least that cow got a refund.
You know, the Mongolians used to mix horse blood and milk together.
Did you just call Valens a horse?
To keep themselves on the saddle.
Did you just call Valens a horse?
Mm.
Okay.
They're gonna name a cocktail after him. So I think the one thing, okay. So Valens gets killed, half by Gaius, half by Alphonse. They take turns on him, and that's great. And then Alphonse's memory core, his synthetic aura sight, basically does for Ali the same thing that the little shard of crystal does for Ringing at the end of Eden. Right, we got this idea of aura sight being unique. The type of ether they contain is memory.
Yeah.
Primarily, right? And what I'm kind of wondering here is whether Ali's got her memories back, or whether it's kind of like the Ascians, where she's got like Alphonse's memories of her. And I know that this is completely like it's like not an issue. It's not going to come up anywhere. But I couldn't help but wonder about that all the same.
I think it's just showing them his memories, and it's just using that to kick her out of shock, and that's all it is.
Right.
Because
so you think she
literally says, Alphonse says, continue, and she's like, I'm going to join you. And he's like, no, you're really misunderstanding what I'm saying here. You keep going. We're dead. You keep going. You don't die now.
Right.
Okay? That's fine. You can do this. All right? And I think that's all it is. I think it's just a sphere of memory. I don't think it's going to be used or function in any way like we've seen in the past. I think she's seen it, she has it, and that's kind of the end of it all.
Okay. Yeah, I just can't help but wonder, because it's basically like a synthetic Heart of Sabik, you know?
Yeah.
And I just can't help but wonder, when there's artifacts like that lying around that we've got in the back of our pocket, there's just going to be instances that come up. It's like they had to destroy the Tuxamati, right? Because since they did, there have been so many moments where we could have just MacGuffin things with the Tuxamati. And with that hanging around and not destroyed, I'm just going to have it like in the back of my head, being like, do we have that?
That's what the anime scene, it's like the father-son Kamehameha, where she's going to be holding it and like using it, and then all of her siblings are going to put their hands on her wrist while she's doing
it.
Yeah.
Exactly.
It's there. I just wrote 7.0. You're welcome.
That's beautiful.
There you go.
Well, I have one more question to pose to you guys for Whirlit. Do we think that Gaius is going to be just hanging out in Whirlit and helping them set up their government, or is he going to come back into the MSQ?
The whole Shadowhunter thing is still kind of open-ended. We still have Ascians. Or Ascian.
We really gotta tell him that we finished that up for the most part, don't we? We really gotta let him know that's like, we kind of like there's some strays, but like you gotta know that we're good.
It just seems like it's not his priority at the moment, you know?
Yeah, he kind of like skipped out on what he was originally doing as Shadow.
Well, he failed. He wanted to save Garlemald from the Ascians, and he like blatantly failed.
I think he's gonna be largely absent from the MSQ in 6.0 specifically. Maybe after in 6.1.
Yeah.
I think the idea is going to be that there's probably a tower out in, Wurlitz's area that we can't see from Turncliffe. And that he's largely going to be the one dealing with that. Like, I think we'll be in contact with him regarding towers that are out in that area. And that's it. He's just going to, other than that, he's going to be largely absent.
That's a shame. Because I really want him to be like our Heavensward Estinian, That's what I've been hoping.
We're getting our Estinian back, so you don't need to...
I mean, that's fine. They're not mutually exclusive.
But they are the same person. Well, technically, this Estinian is not at all the same person.
No.
He even makes a note of that in this MSQ, how he is so very much not Heavensward Estinian. Which was quite refreshing. What about you, Sly? So you think that they're gonna bring him into MSQ in 6.0 with Fandaniel?
I want to think so. Like I want to think that somehow, some way, he will be involved. And is Fandaniel the last Ascian?
Probably not. Unless he's gone out of his way to eliminate all the other ones now that he's doing this shit.
Yeah, if not, I can definitely see guys coming back. But yeah, I can see guys being a little bit hands off with Fandaniel, not even knowing what's going on. I mean, I feel like we kind of give him bits of information, like look, guys, there was this Ascian, we fucking took care of it. There might be more in the future. We'll call you. Don't call us, we'll call you. It might be that kind of thing. But yeah, as far as like 6.0, he's chilling in Wurlit. He's got a society to kind of rebuild.
Just don't tell him about Gaia.
Yeah, that's what I was gonna say. I was gonna say, how many? After we kill Fandaniel, that's what, 7 total? 7 total confirmed, like permadead Ascians, I believe.
Yeah.
Well, I mean, I'm thinking the main 3, La Habrea, Elidibus, and and Emmet. And then you have...
But they're the only ones that we can say for sure are permadead.
I guess that's true.
Like, most of the others are probably permadead.
Because Gaia is technically... I mean, even if they even leave that open, that she could probably learn to travel between the realms if she really wanted to. So...
Oh man, I want to see that. I want to see her and Gaius just being like, again with the fucking hammer of darkness.
No. Gaius, she's good people. Promise. She's good people.
She's literally got the hammer of darkness, dude. Brad told me about the hammer of darkness.
Obviously, what's her face? Iggiorm, we know, is gone.
Iggiorm's gone.
Yeah. Fandaniel we're dealing with right now. Artemis is what's his actual? Is that Imoraloth? What's his name? What's his actual?
Not a Mitron.
No, Mitron is Gaia. That's who Gaia was. Who is
no.
No, it's Logriff and...
Oh, I'm sorry. Yeah, she's Logriff.
Logriff and Mitron.
You're right. Yeah. She's Logriff, he's Mitron. Yeah. So we can at least say... I think Mitron's memory crystal is probably gone, so... Well, that's why he needed to do all of Eden. Yeah, we know that, because he didn't have a memory crystal.
I think they probably don't have access to any of the memory crystals anymore.
Yeah, which means they could still be their ether, just not any memory of them, essentially.
Yeah, of course, like, they're still going to have their shards, but it doesn't matter. At this point, no, it's really just a question of like, of the ones that we or someone else deleted before we killed Emmett Salg, which of those got raised back up? Because it seems like Amaraloth, for instance, we know that Galuf Baldessian and co, they smited him, and then like 2 patches later, he's back on the convocation seat. So I do think, however, that the writers are trying to get as many of them out of the picture as possible.
While we have Pandemonium coming.
Yeah.
Which is a big question mark. That's a big question mark.
Yeah, that's fair.
Yeah. So we'll see how that actually turns out. Either way, Wurlit. Don't have to wait 4 weeks to finish that story. That one's good. We'll see where it goes from here on out. and that was quite a satisfying ending for me in particular.
Mm-hmm.
One more quick question. Like, I know you asked about Gaius. Do we see anything with Allie in the future?
She's gonna be with him. If we see him, she's just gonna be relevant and present. I feel like that's true of most of the Turncliffe people who they go out of their way to introduce. And on top of Vordelaine and what's her face, Severa.
Yeah.
I think the idea is that any plotline they continue, they're probably key players at any point in the future, but that probably not in the immediate future, though. No. Yeah, she's gonna become the G Warrior's primary pilot. Guy's too old for that shit. He don't want to do that. He'll do the G Savior, but he ain't trying to be a mech pilot anymore. That dude's old, man. Dude's in his 50s, isn't he?
I think he's in his 60s now.
Jesus Christ. Hey, he looks good for his 60s.
Actually.
Trying to find out.
Let me check.
He has that so close. Just
moments. Bunce is in the closet over there. Like, he has it just right next to him.
No.
Yeah, of course. I have to. All right, so what's the next thing while I'm looking this up?
I think the next thing would be MSQ.
Yeah. You think about it, because there's so many pieces of like the side stories here are meant to be done piecemeal week by week. Like, we really can't talk about Custom Delivery or Ishgard much. Only the first couple of weeks of those have really transpired. And we have Bojo, which is huge, but that's saving for part 2.
Gaius was 57 in ARR, so he's about 60.
Damn.
Right?
Yeah. Yeah, he's aged gracefully.
I'd say so. If
Maybe
at 57 you've still got all of those quotes and you get to be a boss fight in a dungeon, I say you're doing all right.
Yeah,
if you like that old, Jesus.
It makes me feel like Gaius versus Valens at the end there was like when Eminem and MGK had their rap feud, and then and Gaius is obviously Eminem in this case, so it's about how that went.
Considering they're pretty similar age.
No, I think
Gossetsu.
Valens is definitely. I think Valens is younger.
No. I'm saying who didn't age so well, considering they're about the same age.
Oh, okay.
Is Gossetsu.
Yeah, Gossetsu. Well,
Gossetsu's a cripple.
Yeah, he's.
And he just had a building fall on him.
Yeah, he's not having a good time.
And got shot a couple of times. Gus got blown up.
I mean, Gossetsu, his build though, like he don't.
He's literally a cripple. Like he can barely walk now.
And yet that's all he does because he's a nomad.
Yeah.
Gossetsu's a boss.
Anyway, MSQ.
Yes. We were pretty on the nose about a lot of the stuff from this. I felt I felt pretty good coming out of this with where we thought part 1 was going to go, minus a couple of things that we didn't really even discuss or predict. I don't know where you guys landed on that.
I am salty because we got a spoiler cast before the patch, and that was the heckin' trailer. There was nothing in the trailer. There was nothing in this MSQ patch that wasn't in the trailer. Like they showed us Tiamat in the trailer.
Although everything around Tiamat was largely a mystery, but you could have divined how that went.
Yeah,
it was pretty easy to intuit if you've even been paying half attention to the story since Heaven's Ward. I think. Yeah, I mean, it was a great trailer, and Yoshida was making the point that it was really difficult to sort of avoid spoilers in this trailer. But yeah, I'm a bit salty about that because that would have been such a huge moment. Was us kind of realizing, oh my god, we're going to go see Tiamat. So I was a bit frustrated by that. And that there was nothing that really sort of defied my expectations in this patch for the MSQ, despite how good it was. There was no huge kind of surprise or twist.
There was no Varys at the table moment.
Yeah.
Where he's exactly. I know there's an Ascian and this is what I plan on doing.
Right, and that's what we should be comparing it to, because that was 4.5.
Yeah.
It's the sort of directly analogous patch we've got here.
Sort of God, every time we see those tables, we think some real shit's about to happen.
This is finally
Every
one
time.
time where it didn't. The realest thing that happened was Ehrenwald walked in the room, and they're like, "Oh shit, the B team." Or in Ehrenwald's case, maybe the C team. Not sure.
Yeah.
He's not.
He's B team.
He's not, but he doesn't know how to.
B team.
He sucks at fighting, though. Doesn't that relegate him to C team?
I don't think he sucks at fighting.
He even says.
I mean, how many?
It was a moment. It was a moment, and he has limited teammates.
He is.
He's basically I'm the worst fighter in the room. Was more so what he was saying.
I mean, he's just saying that. It's just his character. He's just humble.
Right.
He's fought so many primals by now. And
right.
I mean, like, you guys remember what happened when you two tried to fight Leviathan?
I won.
Ehrenwald to kick your ass.
I won.
Yeah.
What are you talking about?
Yeah. I mean, you guys had cannons, and
I also got the Echo.
And
3 dozen. Yeah, and 3 dozen company heroes members that died for you.
That didn't do jack fucking shit and got wiped, and all the Sahuagin got wiped away anyway by their own god.
Right.
I'm just saying, like, he's no joke. He's definitely B team.
All right. Well, then he should have been fighting alongside me in Scala then, instead of making me do it.
That's fair. For those of you who don't know, basically, since the end of 4.1, Ehrenwald and Fullmetal have been fighting ARR primals, basically. They've been the Ifrit grind squad for the most part. That while we're off doing more important things, they just keep smashing out the Eorzean primals that keep getting summoned.
They're pony farming.
Yeah.
Yeah, they're mount farming.
Yeah, basically, yeah.
They're mount they're mount farming, but they're sinking it for some reason, kind of deal. So there's a few people die and need to get rezzed, but they win, and
right.
I don't know how many of them have won the mount though.
At this point, it's not even Unreal yet. It's just strictly just ARR synced.
Yeah, they're just doing it synced. Not mid-item level though, just synced. Just synced.
Mm-hmm.
That's fine.
Yeah,
they don't even have all their skills. Yeah, and that's explored in both Tales of the Storm, as well as the level 80 Summoner quest, which I didn't do before the patch, and I want to go do it now that we've got some context to see which way they acknowledged it, like we talked about. Since that's which event do they consider canon? It essentially answers which event is canon. I think based on the MSQ before I even do the Summoner quest line. Kind of has to be that the Summoner questline is canonically the first thing. It feels like it kind of has to be.
Yeah, it has to be. Yeah, definitely.
Because it'd be really weird if I went to do it now and Ehrenwald's like, "Nah, I'm fine. I'll lay back down after I'm
He's
done
only
with this."
level 50. It's not lunar fridge, it's just the normal one.
Yeah, that's fine. Everything will be okay. Yeah, but that's explained with that's the two places where you can find that information.
Yeah. So we're in Alamigo because they've, called a war summit, basically with these towers showing up to share the intel they've learned with the rest of the alliance leaders. And Ehrenwald and Fullmetal are tasked with basically infiltrating one of these towers to learn more, to work out what the dealio is, since they're the only ones that can, get in without being tempered, we hope. And we're given the more important task of dealing with Lunar Bahamut, working out how to kill it and then hunting it down. And we learned that Urianger and Thancred thank God, they are back from Garlemald and they are okay. However, it seems that big tower has already appeared in Garlemald. And furthermore, it seems that despite... I gotta wonder, like, what are the Maelstrom scouts in? Is it Camp Overlook there? It's Camp Overlook.
Yeah, the one that's near the Nemean ruins.
Yeah. So we know now that they didn't just like pop out of the ground spontaneously; that they were built.
Yeah, and it's like, how did you not see this?
Exactly. It's like, how did you not see like a fleet of airships coming in? For starters, And they, like, sure, maybe they constructed it in like a week or two, but like they're just sitting around playing triple triad, and you know, the kobolds aren't a threat anymore. They don't have to worry about them. What are they doing? Someone's got to get fired for that. That's a huge oversight. But yeah, basically we learned that the Galmod's completely silent, except for this tower. Everyone in the city has basically been tempered, and they're working like a hive mind, basically building this tower. And that they assume that it's kind of the same deal with all these other towers, and that the people that have been kidnapping the various beast races that are near these towers are Garleans. They are wearing Garlean armor.
Yeah. It's worth mentioning the towers, they do say just appear, so I assume Fandaniel took care of the distribution for the most part.
Yeah.
They can kind of get places pretty quick, those Asians. That's a big fucking portal, though. That's a lot of big fucking portal. Then again, we don't know anything about what defines the rest of the Telophoroi outside of Fandaniel. We don't know if even those are just Asians that are left over. That he's been like, listen, I'm in charge now. We're not called that. All right? We're called the Telophoroi. Shut the fuck up. We're doing it. Okay? So.
Yeah, all we know about what constitutes the Telophoroi so far are Fandaniel Xenos, tempered Guardians, tempered beast races, tempered dragons. Yeah, tempered Mericidians. To wit, we learn that Kral and Tataru have had the foresight to try and track down Estinian, since dragons.
It's a good idea, realistically. It's the first time where he probably hears that and he's like, all right, finally. At least it makes sense this time. Instead of just every fucking time.
I was kind of like, hey, excuse me, just remind me real quick, did Estinian do coil? Or was that me? Because I think that was... I think I did that, actually. I think that one was me.
Alice's like, it was him. I know, I was there. Alpha knows, like, I was there at the end. Shut up. Listen. It was an ass. Yeah. I just needed the other half of the grimoire.
Yeah.
Man, that's kind of fucked up now you think about it. Both half of those grimoires are just being thrown in a fucking desk now with Alice and Alphino. They're like, fuck it. We're different now. I don't care.
That's true, right? Is that we get Louis Soir being like, you can use these grimoires now to summon Phoenix Eggy. Don't forget to do that. And they're like, yeah, but Scholar kind of sucks. It's kind of boring.
I don't want to play Arcanist and Scholar anymore. I want to move on. We've had so many expansions. Like you weren't there. You didn't buy Stormblood, Orion J. And you haven't even seen the Endwalker trailer yet.
So Sly, what does Estinian do?
What do you mean?
I mean, what is he up to when we catch up to him? What's his plan?
Wasn't he he wasn't the one who
Sly, there's a real easy answer to this that you're missing out on.
Come on, dude.
What? That's what I said. Wasn't he the leader of the Free Tiamat movement?
Yeah.
That's what I was about to say, yeah.
Okay.
There it is.
Yes.
I just expected a quick answer.
No.
Yeah.
I thought you were asking something else. I don't know. No, I thought you were asking something else. Yeah.
No, it wasn't. I swear, it wasn't a trick question.
What?
We show up in Ishgard and we're looking around for Estinian, and Alize is like, "Hey, is it the tall Elizin dude with the Free Tiamat t-shirt on over there?"
Weird. He walked up to us.
Alphino, how you have grown, Alphino.
I love that.
That was so
it's funny because
you're looking a lot more husky now. Was that the term? He's like husky.
Yeah. It's so funny because we've seen Alphino been mistaken for Alice a number of times, and his like you hurt nothing but my pride, and Alice loses it.
Rugged. That was rugged.
Loses it.
Rugged.
Yeah. And especially the head pat is where it really you're like,
yeah.
Man, if somebody said something like that to me and then didn't touch me, I'd be upset. But if they then did that,
so we've seen it in the other direction so many times, but this is the first time I think we've seen Estinian being like explicitly horny for Alphinaud.
Not how I read into it.
Go on a tour together. Come on. They didn't go on tour together for an expansion, for a MSQ.
Well, that's true, but in all that time, Estinian did not once kind of come to that level. And there's an issue here that I won't dive into too much.
No, dive.
But there's a time bubble, right?
Okay.
And within that time bubble at the moment, Alphinaud is kind of Schrodinger's minor, if you will.
Oh my god.
He may or may not be.
You know what? Don't dive. Never mind.
This may or may not be extremely inappropriate.
Please back out of it. Please back out of it. I regret asking you to dive into it, but fuck, I need a beer.
I'm sorry, that was just my first thought. I was like, all right, we've already established we just established. I think this is good. We did just establish that Urianger didn't have his growth spurt until he turned 20, right? And Alphinaud is somewhere between 16 and 20. So what I want to put to you...
Are you taking into account time on the first?
Yes. No.
No, his body didn't age.
No.
We know that.
No. His body didn't age. Yeah. But counting time on the first, like, yeah, okay. He could be like, his mind could be early 20s. No, what I'm suggesting is Alphinaud from Era to Heaven's Ward just got like an inch taller. Heaven's Ward to Stormblood, he got an inch taller. I don't think he's gotten taller since Stormblood, but are we going to see a growth spurt from Alphinaud?
I hope not.
One could hope.
I hope not.
Except Happy.
No, don't do it. People are weird enough about those characters as it is. I don't need him getting taller. I'm
over here thinking that we're going to get like a little bit, maybe like a 1 year time skip between 6.0 and 6.1 for the new arc. That we're going to burst the time bubble and we're going to enter a new time bubble.
I don't know about that.
I don't want tall Alpha.
It feels like a lot would happen in that time frame.
I don't want tall Fino, I don't want tall Fasay. I don't want it.
Maybe not on the source, maybe on the first. Like that is a big window of time for shit to not happen. Or to kind of rush through it and say, oh, this happened in a 1 year span and we just didn't touch it.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I wonder. I don't know. I just like, I think Alphinaud really is like the main character of Final Fantasy 14. And at some point, he's got to grow up.
That's not true. All JRPG heroes stay 16.
Yeah, but very few JRPGs take place over such a massive kind of span of time.
No, they still stay 16.
Oh, okay.
It's fine.
All right.
Go ahead 100 years, I'm 60. They're 16. Final Fantasy 15, he goes away for fucking 10 years and he gets a little stubble and it's like, yeah, you're still fucking 20. You're still 20 years old. I don't care. 20 is the upper echelon that they'll go to. There you go. Yeah, Ash was... Wait, yeah. Do you not know Pokemon? That motherfucker's still 10 years old. I don't think there's a single episode where they wish him a happy birthday. Probably is.
Yeah, 20 is like a grandfather in JRPG terms, isn't it?
Chat knew very quickly they did do a birthday episode for Ash.
Of course. Well, to get back on track, I guess we go to Mericidia and there's a lot of filler there. Was it just me? Did this feel like really weirdly paced?
Well, I'm sorry. I was still trying to get over the conversation we just had. Can you say that again?
We go to Mericidia.
Mericidia? You mean Azus Law?
Oh. I've got Mericidia on the brain for obvious reasons. Yeah. Sorry, we go to Azus Law. I wish we went to Mericidia. We go to Azus Law, and it seems like there's a lot of filler there.
See, for me, this felt like it felt like, oh wow, people really like those scenes in 5.4. Let's do that again. The same thing with like Graha and his blood and trying to make sure it all worked. We didn't get a password moment, but we did get Clippy. Clippy the Allegan node.
Yes.
We got a Windows update and Clippy the Allegan node.
I thought it was just straight up Microsoft chat.
Maybe. I thought it was Clippy. He's like, you look like you could use some help. And I'm like, I want you dead.
No, we don't need help. No, I'm sorry.
We literally got Allegan Clippy. They knew. That's a super big Koji. Let me write in some computer memes because I don't get to do this. Like, I mean, that was the same in 5.4. Like the password being password. Like those are all like tech memes. Like people having shitty passwords and things like that. So,
man, he must have had a really fucked up update as of recent.
5 years? I know it. I should probably remember it because it'll probably be on Air Zivia.
Well, now it won't be.
No, we'll forget.
Yeah.
You just have to ask it like 13 questions in, so we're already disappointed in ourselves, and now we can't remember. Yeah. So, don't worry. 5 years. And when I'm behind 5 years of updates, I don't just go, well, I'll do it myself and just like go into Windows and just like figure out how the programs work and shit. That doesn't. I can't just skip a 5-year update. Windows won't leave me alone after 2 weeks. So Allegan's got that top quality. They got, you know what they is? I'm on Windows 10 like consumer. They're on Windows 10 professional. That's probably it.
Oh yeah, that's got to be it.
Yeah,
that's got to be it for sure.
Oh.
Well, I guess to kind of pierce through all of that nonsense, we get 2 like big points, I think, out of these scenes. The first one is some more elucidation on this idea of like tempering by degrees, right?
Yeah. And
that since Tiamat summoned Bahamut, in so doing was exposed to that tempering influence. And it seems, this is really interesting to me because it seems that we're establishing here that primals will categorically temper the summoner or summoners, like upon summoning. So we know that, like, having fought primals, they don't always try and temper us. And when they do, it's something they have to do deliberate, and it's like directed, right?
Yeah.
And we, can protect ourselves. We can protect other people from it, as we saw with Lakshmi. But now we've got 2 instances here with Bahamut and again with Zodiac, where it was like, well, when we summon him, that's like the first thing they do is they need people to have tempered. But once again, it's not black and white, and that Tiamat, being incredibly powerful herself, has had her soul kind of polarized, but maintains her sense of self and most of her memories and most of her kind of, most of herself. Yeah. And we're not really sure, like, to what extent she's been tempered.
And neither does she, really, because she doesn't want to be let go until because she's like, unless you have a way of fixing me, then I'm staying. And then we're like, well, fortunately for you, we've been working on this thing with these Porksies for the last several months. And she's like, really? You can do that? Wow. Okay.
How convenient.
All right. Well, let's give it a shot then.
Yeah. And this kind of builds on what Xenos was telling us in reference to Shinryu, right? Was the idea that he had of it being sort of like a contest of wills, what tempering is, rather than this sort of binary thing. Yeah, so we get some more of that. And then, of course, we get the big point that is going to lead us into Endwalker in a lot of ways, and something that we have been wondering about and speculating about since Heaven's Ward is like, what would it take to get the dragons involved and invested? They don't care about Garlemald. Like, I got it from Yoshida's mouth that the whole Garlean threat was just not that big a deal. And people like Vidofnir and Vedrfolnir Price Vulgar, it's just not big enough for them to care about. It's not a threat to them. They don't really see it as a threat to the world. It's just like a blip on the radar for them. But for Tiamat, she's got two motivations here. One, obviously, Bahamut and trying to preserve his memory and the integrity of that and save the Mericidians that are still alive. And we'll get to that in a moment. But the other thing is that she recognizes that this is the end of Hydaelyn. That what they're facing here is the potential death of Hydaelyn. This is not just another calamity. And that she recognizes the sort of severity of that, which is something we're going to need to get other parties to understand pretty soon, right?
Yeah, and it seems like that's, for the most part, happening at a reasonable pace. 5.4 was the catalyst for trying to fix the relationships between the kobolds and the Limsalomintons. Of course, the stakes being that we needed to be able to cure tempering for that to even remotely be possible. And we see with Paglthon, I mean, it's worth remembering that Paglthon is not a safe haven for the tempered Amalja. That really is just through, Zaharak, where the majority of them reside.
Yeah, that's their main stronghold.
Yeah, and I mean, we see that in spades. We basically see in spades throughout as we go through Zolmak and into the later parts of Paglthon, that it's not just, even though it's an Amalja homeland, it is not a place only the Amalja go. Because we see other races present. We didn't bring kobolds to Zolmak.
Well, it seems the kobolds were working with the
Limsalomintons.
Maelstrom.
Yeah, they were working with the Maelstrom. Well, I guess
they fronted up. They don't live like in Thanel.
Yeah.
The kobolds all live on. They rocked up. That was pretty cool. The most interesting thing about Paglthon for me was the fact that Tiamat felt that she could rescue some of the Mericidians.
Yeah, it didn't work out so great for very long.
Yeah, but I think we were talking about this a little bit last week, right? That the dragon song might be also somehow akin to tempering.
Yeah.
Right? Is that when Midgard-Zormr at the Battle of Silvertear Skies sort of calls out, the Dravanians are literally like compelled to fly and fight for him. And it seems like Tiamat sort of saying like, hey, all the Mericidians have been tempered by Bahamut and they've been Neuralinked by the Allagans. Presumably the ones that Telophore are getting are from Azazlar, because the ones in Coil, I think we pretty firmly established were dead once we switched the coils off.
Yeah,
right.
We basically turned all of the technology in the coil should be disabled, so they shouldn't be being held in a perpetual state of somehow living.
But she thinks that there are some that are perhaps not so far tempered, kind of like her, that she can sort of claim them back, presumably through that sort of draconic influence that the dragons can exert over their brood. And I think that's really fascinating as well, is we've got another idea that tempering is perhaps not even unique to primals.
It shouldn't be, because we've established it is just the ability to alter ether in some degree. So if there's a
to alter ether in order to dominate someone.
Yeah. And who's to say that dragons don't have, especially because all the dragons came from one dragon at the end of the day. I mean, they all reach up to Midgardsormr, and eventually they all reach up to the brood. So if realistically, if that's a piece of their ether, with what we know about dragons, which they, despite the fact that Bahamut and Tiamat are soulmates, lovers, they asexually reproduce. So their broods are very specifically their ether being just like poured out. So they should theoretically have some control over it.
Yeah, that's a fair point. Like, their ether is already modeled after, in this case, the icon.
Yeah.
As we know, is kind of an important part of how tempering works. But that's really interesting, right? Because now we've got this idea of not just tempering to a primal or a dragon or some kind of deiform entity, but to an ideal.
Which is
tempering
what we see with them all saying for God. Everyone in this MSQ is like tempered to a whole nation. That doesn't make any sense.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. Mm. Yeah, and that they can still summon primals. They can still worship a primal. But not be tempered by the primal, but be tempered by something else. And then subsequently have their idea of that primal in service to the idea that they're tempered to. Which is basically how the lunar primals are working, as we sort of have explained for us, right? The Mericidian dragons in this case are sustaining Bahamut, but they're tempered to the Telophoroi, so lunar Bahamut is serving the Telophoroi. So we got to, kill the Mericidian dragons that we can't save. Tiamat can claim back the ones that we can. We kill Lunar Bahamut, and then Tiamat takes them and goes back to Mericidio, which is really exciting because...
Yeah, Chat does bring up something pretty interesting. With Elentill becoming the Warrior of Light, they don't ever... He becomes a primal in a sense. They never worship Elentill. Yeah. They worship the idea of a hero, of a warrior, of the Warrior of Light.
But in a way, that was sort of like tempering. Albeit he went about it in the most roundabout kind of way, but it was still tempering in a way. With the
I'd say it was mind fuckery. Like he was fooling them all into doing something that he knew he could do, that he could capitalize on.
Yes, it was more like what happened with Phoenix at Cardano, it was him like deliberately facilitating that sort of empowerment.
Yeah, because he manages to take on the form with the worshipped ideal, without them worshiping him in particular.
Yeah, exactly.
So this is kind of, Chat brings up that it is kind of similar to that of worshipping an idea.
Yeah. So this is another case of us having like a couple of precedents that are sort of filling in like bits of this puzzle here that we're going to get the sort of culmination of in Endwalker. Yeah, I mean, obviously 5.5 is setting up a lot of Endwalker stuff, a lot of 6.0 stuff. But we also know that from 6.1 onwards, we're going to be going in another narrative arc, setting up another narrative arc, and that it's going to have something to do with, being launched from the zones that we're going to. We've been talking a little bit in previous shows about the relationship between Thavner, Radzat Han, and Mericidia being the only trade and diplomatic relationship that Mericidia has with any other nation in the world. Now we've got Tiamat being like, I've rescued my brood, we can go back to our home. Dragons returning to Mericidia for the first time in 5,000 years. Like, that's a pretty compelling historical event. I really, really feel like we're starting to seed a Mericidian, if not necessarily a Mericidian arc, certainly a Mericidian zone. We got a lot more history about Mericidia in this patch. I really feel like come 7.0. I mean, it's way too early to start talking about 7.0.
It's never too early.
Are you guys with me there? Like, it certainly feels like they're starting to set it up.
How many long cons have we played in all these years of doing this show? It's never too early to start talking about 8.0 at this point.
That's true. We've been talking about Free T since 3.0. Been talking about the moon since 3.1.
Damn right.
So yeah, why not? Mericidia for 7.0.
I mean, there's a lot of people point out that when it comes to predicting, a lot of it just comes down to what we want. And there's a difference between predicting based on what's being seeded and what we just want. Like, I want to go to the New World, for example. I think we've seen that right now the only plotline with the New World is that it is essentially the Americas, which we already knew even before the Blue Mage questline, and that the initial parts of the Blue Mage questline are very similar to the colonization that Europe colonizing America, bringing over disease. Like, those are the plot lines we've dealt with, but that doesn't necessarily mean that's all it is. Like, there's a whole continent to explore with all sorts of landscapes and events, and you have to imagine that the shit bad that's happening in Eorzea as much as Silver Tier is still very clearly the center of it all and why we probably have more problems, you have to imagine there's some pretty world-ending shit that maybe has happened on the other side of the world at some point, or is waiting to happen on the other side of the world at some point. So
I think you make a good point. And I mean, the same thing happened with Gaius, right? Is that this isn't so much predictive as like prescriptive as us telling Square Enix what we want to see and then them doing it. So let's say 7.0, Mericidia, and New World. Let's be like,
all right, you're
really
burning
greedy.
too many places at once, man. You got to relax. And that was actually, chat brought up something I forgot to mention earlier. I need to dive away from MSQ for a second.
Sure. Okay.
Going back to Diamond Weapon, because I have to bring this up. My first question was, this isn't, I knew that wasn't Ifrit. The form he was taking is not Ifrit. And I know it's a reference to a Gundam, but it says that it probably absorbed a primal that was summoned by the Korvosian resistance.
Okay, where does it say that?
I think it says it in the data logs. Oh wait, maybe it says it on the mount. I have to double check. But there's something regarding that we checked. We checked on the Gwibber. Yes, on the mount it says that.
Okay, cool. So it says that the diamond weapon absorbed a primal?
It says that that was summoned by the Korvosian resistance. So what the fuck is that?
Well,
because I googled it and I couldn't find anything.
Korvos is just north of Thavno.
Okay.
On the coast of southern Ilzabad there. And
it was
it's
summoned
not
by the
terribly far
resistance. Also, it says it was summoned by, like, as a resistance against the Empire, essentially.
Listen, it's not terribly far from Ridorana.
Which is pretty...
It could be Belias.
Yeah.
Maybe they
somebody
finally
suggested that in my chat.
To make.
Somebody did suggest that in my chat, that it would be the Belias being an aura site and it being disappearing, but people still knowing about him and worshiping him and summoning him was a possibility. Somebody did label that in my chat. They said, I think it's Belias.
Yeah. I think we touched on this last week, right? Is that now that we've got a distinction between Cuchulainn the Lucavi and Cuchulainn the Voidsent.
Yeah.
We've seen this like quite a few times, right? Like we've got Agrius and then Agrius. We've got different entities with the same name.
Even Azim and Azim. Yeah.
Right. Yeah, because they've got the same sort of historical inspiration, the same historical origin. They can have the same name and be separate entities. So I think that this might be connecting the fact that we've got the Belias Eggy in 2.0 that looks identical to an Ifrit Eggy, and that maybe Belias is also another primal, another fire primal that looks the same. Maybe. That would be so cool. That would be so cool if we were getting this connection here.
Yeah, I figured you probably didn't know what the mount description was, and I remember reading it and being like, I need to talk to Ethys about this. So, because I did win one finally.
Yeah, I hadn't seen it yet.
Yeah,
I'm very, very glad to hear that.
Yep.
Okay,
Primal comes from because everyone just calls it Ifrit, but I'm like, it's not. He doesn't use anything fire is the thing. He outrages Earth kind of a little bit. So that's about it. Like there's not much of an elemental association outside of outrage.
Well, that's the tough one as well, is that Belias, like we know, is a fire aspected entity.
Who knows what Alphonse is doing, though? Who knows what Alphonse knows what the fuck he's doing?
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah, so just wanted to double back to that while we were in the middle of MSQ talk, because somebody brought it up while we were talking about geographical locations in the chat. Thank you, whoever did to Corey brought it up in the chat.
No, that's good. That's really good. Appreciate that. All right. Well, back to Pagothan, I guess. Well, we free Tiamat, get the Neuralink software, fix the tempering, go to Pagothan. There's dragons there. There's Imperials. There's, we all fight together. Yes?
Yes, Mike.
Oh, I'm waiting until you're done. You can call me when you're done. I just want to...
No, that's it. I was just trying to get us back on track.
Oh, yeah. I was going to say, can I get Tiamat as a trust? Because her AoE is so much fucking better. Holy shit.
Wait, who is this?
Tiamat.
Tiamat?
She fucking trucks them for like 80% of their health in one fire breath. And I'm like, what the fuck?
Yep.
This is the fastest dungeon I've ever done with Trust. She just fucking murders everything. Thank you, Tiamat.
Oh my goodness.
Yeah.
I know.
We see her fight, and when we see her fight Lunar Bahamut, honestly, we shouldn't have won that fight. The only reason we win that fight is because she blasts them one good time. That should not be a fight that was so easily winnable.
No. I mean, we basically got Bahamut downloaded at this point. How many times have we fought Bahamut?
Are we including Bozja or not?
Yeah, of course.
Okay,
counts.
We'll include Bozja then. Yeah, I don't know. But even still, dude, he's supposed to be big. Well, the big thing we learned before even going to Paglthon, a point we kind of skipped over, is that these primals do not temper. The primals themselves do not actually do any tempering. So we learned that we can actually people can fight them like normal without as long as they don't get too close to a tower in the process. Well,
so
like
it seems.
So it seems, yeah, thus far. And Fandaniel's been one step ahead most of the time, so I wonder if he would think of that as an observation we would make. But thus far, it's working, and given that, so my prediction for part 2 is that the instance there, we're going to be playing as the Scions, and they're all simultaneously fighting different primals. In what we see in the trailer, where there's Lunar Bahamut, because it looks like you're controlling Grahatia, you're controlling different Scions.
You don't think it's a separate dungeon?
No, it's not. No, it's a solo instance, without a shadow of a doubt.
I agree.
Yeah. And it looks like we are just using the RP mechanic to control different Scions and fight different primals throughout Cartano. If you go back and watch, this thought makes more sense. You see the way that they do the camera angles and who's centered, and it's never the Warrior of Darkness at any point. And I think a big old you play as a bunch of Scions who can actually fight these things thing, because we still don't really know why we're going to Cartano either. Like this hasn't been made apparent yet, really. And why everyone is congregating there. So that's I think that's going to end up being true. I'm feeling confident that we're on to something with the primals. The lunar primals don't temper, only the towers do, or at least the energy or the worshippers in the tower. Because those towers are coils. They're coils of Bahamut, essentially.
Yeah.
Which is pretty crazy.
Yeah, they're sort of like pseudo-organic, kind of radiating coils.
Yep. They trap a bunch of people and force them to summon primals at will.
Yeah. As Arenvold and Fordola learn.
Very, very unfortunately, peril. Yeah. Arenvold didn't even... you know how I know he can't fight? Motherfucker still has a shield on his back. Come on now. That's not a fucking fighter's instinct. He's like...
He's two-handed and he's playing Dark Souls.
Yeah, he's playing Souls.
Two-handed? He just puts his two hands out. Just says, hit me.
Maybe
he's doing a one-punch challenge.
He's praising the sun.
Yeah, he's praising the sun.
Maybe if I praise the sun, they'll go away.
He thinks Lunar Afraid's a dark spirit and he's just trying to be polite, you know?
Yeah.
Yeah, sure, we'll go with that.
Very good.
Yeah, so... we get that scene. We get to see them fight. At least we now know what the towers are, which really begs the question of what the Garlemald Tower is, because we know that the Garleans are mindlessly building it. There's essentially all of Garlemald that was present is tempered to the degree we understand it. We know that our method of removing this tempering works. Apparently, in between 5.4 and 5.5, Lise goes, well, fucking obviously, come on now, and they're like, fortunately, we can fix this. At this point. So the big question now is that there's a dungeon that we see that looks to have the Magus Sisters, or something that looks like the Magus Sisters, plastered in the fucking walls there. So I'm wondering exactly what is plastered in. Is it just Garleans? Is it something else? Is it just anything they can find?
I still think that the towers, like we're just seeing phase 1 at the moment, right? I think phase 1 is Lunar Primals, and I think phase 2 is Terminus Beasts. I'm still pretty certain of that. I think we're gonna have
boat. Yeah, that Anima is just a Terminus Beast, essentially. Yeah,
and I think the Mega Sisters are probably going to be the same.
Yeah, I do wonder if the other one will be the Magus, because we know there should be 2 trials, 2 extremes when it releases. I'm wondering if the Magus sisters are the other one, or if they go with them being a dungeon boss, because it looks like what I'm assuming is that's the dungeon that leads to the trial, much like Mount Golg leads to Innocence. And,
okay.
Yeah. So, and that we'll fight something that's not them there, but that we are probably going to fight them there. They seem pretty excited to give us some Final Fantasy X-isms in this Final Fantasy IV-esque retreading. So
I'm so excited for that.
Yeah. So that was a big thing. As soon as I saw the inside of the tower, I thought Magus Sisters in the dungeon. They look like they're just plastered in the walls.
I think after the dungeon, the one like major point we've got here left is, Arenvold's out of commission. He's not dead. We don't think he's going to die.
No, I don't think he's going to die. I think he is going to die, but not because of this.
Not yet.
God damn it. He's big boy. He's going to be fine.
Hey, the bigger you are, the harder you fall.
God damn it.
Estinian realizes that if Tiamat's got no more excuses yet not to get involved, then
dude, Estinian giving lip to Tiamat is a highlight. I was like, and everyone else is like.
Well, what I loved there is that wasn't Estinian giving lip. That was
Nidhogg. Yeah,
that was Nidhogg. Exactly.
Yeah. And I think she recognized that.
Mm-hmm.
To some degree, I think part of her
the only way. Put it like this: that's the only way Estinian comes out of that conversation alive.
I think he could fuck Tiamat up on his own.
Nah, without Nidhogg, Estinian's like, well, yeah, you're right. Tiamat's still kind of like.
Dude, she's atrophied. She hasn't done jack shit in 5,000 years, dude. She's not even fucking treadmill walks, Stairmaster, nothing.
Right.
Well, so is Bahamut.
Yeah, but that's cheating.
I mean, that's the Neuralinks, right? That's what the Neuralinks do, is they keep powering him up.
Exactly.
She didn't have that. At least in his case.
She didn't have... Nobody's sitting there making Tiamat stronger.
Right, but again, it's not like Estinian can go up to any Durgan and just go up and shit-talk any Durgan. Like, that's all Nidhogg. He can't do that by himself.
He could if he really wanted to. Like, I don't think you're giving Estinian enough credit for what he could do versus what he knows not to do.
Well... I mean, we've seen Estinian without pre-Nidhogg Estinian. His modus operandi is like, hey, can I borrow your eye real quick? And I can just kneel here and hold it up while Warrior Light does all the work.
Yeah, I can't wait for Tiamat to give us her eyes.
Oh my god! I didn't even think of that. No, she's going to Mericidia. We're not going to see her again.
Doesn't mean she won't eventually give us her eyes. Listen, we've got 3 dragons left to take 4 dragons left to take their eyes. Okay.
Oh, I didn't even think of that. Jeez.
Listen, we've already MacGuffined our way through one fight with a dragon eye. We might as well do it again, all right? It's the end of days, for God's sake.
Yeah, touché.
You got to cover all the angles here, Ethys.
That's fair. Well, and then we get back to Rising Stones, and basically Kral and Y'shtola are like, well, if we can convince Tiamat to get off her ass after 5,000 years, maybe we can convince the Sharlians to get off their ass after 1,500? Might not be such a stretch.
If they'd seen the trailer, they know it's not that much.
Come again?
If they've seen the trailer, they know that probably succeed in this endeavor. We spent a good portion of last week talking about the parents, or talking specifically about Alphino's father. Alcé's father.
Yeah, he was, he is a member of the Sharlian Forum, which is their government body, and he was the leading proponent for the Exodus from Eorzea, and was the major proponent against any support or intervention at Cardano, which
he did say was an embarrassment.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. Well, it was embarrassing to cry out.
Yeah,
that's what I mean. Yeah.
And Kral's hoping that she's got some sort of pull as the last surviving student of Baldesion. Well, I mean, that's not even true. Like, they seem to have forgotten that Grahatia was a student of Baldesion. Like, they haven't.
Yeah, but they don't. Most of them don't even fucking. They're real confused by him. They just Rambros and crew are really aware of like what all this is and what's going. They're like, who is this? Where have you? I don't know.
Yeah, who are you?
Who are you?
Who are you exactly? Yeah, and I mean, basically, like, as we have been speculating, that Sharlayan doesn't care about participating in history. They don't care about calamities. They just care about kind of holding knowledge and, keeping themselves alive and being the sort of scribes and witnesses of history. And I think they're going to change their tune real quick if and when they appreciate the severity of the final days. But I'm also expecting there to be a faction in Sharlayan that's like denying it. I really think there's going to be like a sort of Telophoroi agent kind of theme going on there. I really think that the Ascians have had
that the steward of Gondor is going to be in.
Sure.
Yeah.
I think we're going to get something like that. Honestly, I think we're going to get that kind of conflict in Sharlayan. I think we're going to find out that this kind of whole, knowledge hoarding, non-intervention thing was probably like an Ascian agreement from the beginning. And that all of these parallels that we've seen between Sharlayan and Amarot, not just thematically, but like architecturally even, is not going to be incidental. And I think that's going to be really interesting. And I'm not sure where to place Alphinaud and Alize's father right now. Because on one hand, we've got him being the non-interventionist, the Exodus proponent and all that. But on the other hand, he didn't try to stop Alphinaud and Alize from joining the Circle of Knowing and following Louis Soir. He disagreed vehemently with Louis Soir, but like respected their decision.
Yeah, and then his kids fucking pieced up. They're like, listen, Grandpa was way cooler than you, Dad. All right? I enjoyed summers at his cabin swimming in the lake. All right? You always tried to send us to that shitty camp. We're going to go hang out with Grandpa. All right?
Where the fuck is Grandpa's cabin? Martha's Vineyard? You make it sound so fucking good. I mean, it's Louis Soir, but Jesus, he...
You had a pretty nice...
Do
you know where the Circle of Knowing was? It was in Gridania. They have little pools and shit. It's probably all right.
Well, Louis Soir had an estate.
Yeah, that's
and it was real nice. And we don't know where. Presumably somewhere around the Sharlayan Isles. But Réagé basically grew up on Louis Soir's estate. Yeah, he was basically like...
You thought I was making it up.
Yeah, he was basically like the third Levier kid.
The oldest brother.
Yeah. He just needed somewhere to neck Moon Breeder, and Louis Soir was cool.
It's like, we got a guest room. It's only a twin-sized bed.
You have to make do.
You'll have to make
you gotta make do with a twin-sized bed. I'm sorry.
Yeah. Don't tell us, Steve.
Don't tell us. There you go. Oh my god! And for Elizon's, a twin-sized bed really doesn't work.
Oh my goodness. Okay. What else we got for MSQ? What are we expecting?
After the Rising Stones, there was...
Oh, yeah.
Meanwhile, at the Legion of Doom, of course.
Yeah. And why not just show us the dang scythe? We know it's a scythe. We know it's a scythe.
Fucking pillar.
He even says, like, oh, that seems...
Fitting.
What does he say? Fitting. Yeah. And it's like, come on, dude. Come on.
We hear it has a blade. We hear it comes out like a sheathed item, so it's clearly sharp.
Mm-hmm.
Sounds
unbelievable.
Seems
yes,
apt.
and yes, yeah, it seems rather apt. Yeah, we have that, and we have the kind of little sort of aside between Kral and Y'shtola about them wanting to investigate Hydaelyn and what Heinelin's deal is, and what she wants, and why she hasn't been talking, whether she doesn't want to, whether she's incapable. Basically leading into what I think we can say fairly confidently. If it's not a confrontation with Venar, it is somehow going to be a confrontation with Heidelin.
Yeah,
that we're seeing at Silvertier there in the trailer.
Hey, we were told, listen, they said we would find out the secret of Silvertier this expansion. They just waited till the last fucking cutscene to do it.
I mean, they told us we'd find out the secret of Silvertier in Heaven's Ward.
No, they didn't. No.
They did. They did. Well, I mean, we kind of did. A little bit.
We got the Big Daddy with us. It's fine.
I think this is going to be once again a case of, well, why haven't we seen this before now? Same reason we haven't seen Tiamat. Same reason the Sharlayans haven't gotten involved. It's like, it's now or never. This is going to be something that is very, very difficult for Heidelin to do. It's going to be the reason why she had to use Minfilia as the word of the mother. And maybe like Cryer was suggesting, there's something that's preventing her that we're going to have to kind of deal with. Maybe that's something that's going on at Cartano.
Yeah, I mean, Cartano has to be like maybe there's a tower there, but I don't. Here's the thing: why would so many lunar primals be there? Unless that's a lunar cry, like maybe that's the center location. But you'd think that would be Garlemald with what they're doing there.
Well, maybe they needed some Allagan tech. You know, maybe they needed the like Omega's transmitter or something.
No,
you know,
no, they're doing front lines.
Nobody's doing front lines. Slice, stop it.
No, they're doing front lines.
They're like, shit. We need to do front lines before they rework PvP in 6.0.
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah. Exactly.
Nobody's doing that, Sly.
Yeah. I wonder. I mean, it might just be a case like there's a huge gaping wound in the planet at Cartano, and that there's, you know, ether bleeding out there in a way that, you know, there hasn't been since Silvertier, and maybe it's more accessible than Silvertier. Who knows? But I'm really interested to find out, like, why Cartano? Like, obviously it's very poetic, but I don't think it's going to be that simple for Van Daniel.
It does make you wonder if La Habrea was specifically. He tried to manipulate Cartano, the Battle of Cartano, to specifically be that location for any particular reason. To summon Bahamut.
I mean, Riven Road was specifically in Cartano.
Yeah.
Like, they specifically triangulated it there. Yeah, and I think the idea at the time was that it was basically going to be the like point of like greatest impact.
Yeah, but you have to wonder if the events were specific. Like, why... Because up to this point, it just seemed like a location to be where events happens. Like, a good enough reason is far enough away from all the city-states that they don't need to, other than the Bahamut flying around and ripping shit apart. They don't need to worry about terramorphing it nearly as much for, like, development purposes.
Yeah.
So it felt like what I like to call cutscene location. That's it. It's like its sole purpose was to not be a place that we regularly go to, or they had to change too much, I suppose.
Yeah, and I did misspeak there. Riven Road was not directly above Cartano. It was over Kurthus Eastern,
which is not too far from Cartano, if I'm recalling.
No, it's not too far. Yeah. No, it's not. It's not far away. Yeah.
So yeah, I wonder if that's going to be diving back into that scene or any damage that was done, because I mean, one of the biggest coils that we never actually go into is in Cartano itself. The first one that leaves the fucking tower is the one that crashes right into the middle. So,
well, the ones that we go to are just the ones that are not like damaged so badly that they're inoperable.
Yeah.
But I would not be surprised if there's some Allagan bullshit to do with that central coil, or to do with the Omega ruins, or something there that that Fandania wants to use. So those are the couple of big mysteries we got left, really.
Yeah, and not to mention, I think the other remaining mystery is not MSQ, it's Bosja. I mean, Gabrantha is still a big question of everything that's happening there. We spoke on it a little bit in the past couple of weeks. But that's, I mean, with everything happening in Garlemald, we're assuming that all of Nerva's unit is tempered. And that's all that they're doing. Like I don't even know why there was this guise of funding Nervas with the House Brew. Like, that doesn't seem to fucking matter at all. And now it doesn't. Right now it doesn't. It's like, yeah, House Brutus was funding Nerva. Have you seen Garlemald? Like, what the fuck? Who cares who funded what? Look at this.
Well, my assumption was, like, they needed to build at least one tower before they could temper all of them, right?
Yeah, and that they conscripted Nervas, and then there was a downhill from there.
They probably conscripted Nerva with the promise of giving him the throne or whatever.
Yeah, and gives us very few Garleans who are, left essentially, and Gabranth's unit and everyone under him is kind of one of the remaining lines. And again, I don't think Gabranth dies at the end of Dalraida. I just don't think that's going to happen. I feel like he's been too absent to just bring him in and get rid of him all at once. Like, we see one scene of him at the end of, 4.5 with the end of the Evil East raids. Mm-hmm. He gets mentioned a bunch, and we don't fucking see him ever. We see what's his name, Menenius or whatever the fuck his name is, and yeah, and then we see Lion, and we've already dealt, and we've got what's her fucking face Fordolid right now. So what the fuck knows is gonna happen to her? Can't just kill off Gabranth.
Yeah, I really hope that the final for Bolger makes some references to what's going on in Garlemald and to the towers.
They do in Worlet. The Worlet, they say, the world's kind of going to shit right now, but we still got to do this.
Yeah, I hope we get something a little bit more like specific than that. But I mean, Gabranth, like, he doesn't care. Like, he was anticipating the Empire to fall one way or another. So he's just going to be looking at this and be like, great, goody, Someone else is going to save the world. The Warrior Light's going to do that. I'm just going to have my little kingdom over here. It'll be great.
Little did he know that we've got time to spare. We've got a whole expansion to wait for.
It's like, yeah, I mean, we're gonna end up finding Gabranth, and there's just going to be like a tower in the background, and he's going to be like, why are you here? Like, how is this not... How do you not have something better to do? I'm just trying to build a castle on this little shithole here. Like, don't you have something better to do over there?
No, dude. Listen, I already did patch 5.5. I've done part 2. I came to get my relic, and it's and now I'm waiting for the expansion, man. I got plenty of time to kill here. It's okay.
Yeah.
Just let Menenius. I agree with chat. Menenius really feels like the actual big bad of this story, not Gabranth. He's just not present ever. How can I think? Watch, we're gonna find out that Gabranth has fucking died somehow, or so they're gonna like fucking just get rid of him off screen or something. I'm gonna be fucking furious.
It's gonna be Euladianus again.
Yeah, it's like, wait, I know you. I'm not Nail anymore. I'm
be cool. They don't know. Just be cool.
That's so not in character for Eula Vandar. Not even a little bit. All right, yeah. And with that, we leave with a bunch of questions. I think they gave us some decent questions and plot threads to really hone in on here.
Yeah.
I'm hard to be disappointed with anything except waiting 4 more weeks to find out whether or not I like the Alliance Raid series. But it's cool because we got an Alliance Raid. We got one Alliance Raid this expansion. We got Delubrum. It's fine. I got an Alliance Raid.
So terrible.
Have you done Delubrum 24 man yet? The Savage?
No. I heard it's been done though.
Okay.
Really?
Yeah.
Does it scale?
I didn't ask. I just heard it was done. So I'd assume yeah. But I'd also assume 24 people who give a shit probably are fine versus 48 who don't.
48 people. Not all of them give a shit.
So I always said that's what it was always said about classic WoW raids. It was there's 25 people who care and 15 who are just along for the ride. I wonder what that number looks like for Delubrum. How many people are there to try and how many people are just along for the ride? Yeah. So that's where we stand. I've just done, dude. It's been nothing but fishing for me, fishing and diamond weapon, and now I'm done with diamond weapon.
Have you done the delivery quests? I haven't done any of them yet.
No.
Me either.
No. I'm leaving my chat
So,
to tell me what's happening there, and they haven't yet.
Okay.
They said it's charming.
It's charming. Okay.
Might want to dive into delivery.
Yeah.
I might do that.
I've been told I should definitely be doing it. Especially, they said it's right now. It's being set up as a big payoff for all the rest of the restoration quests and a little bit back into 3.0. There's a lot of ties to Ishgard's progressed state as from the nation that it was to the nation it's becoming.
Great. Okay. Well, we'll have to come back to that with 5.55 spoiler cast maybe.
Yeah.
Have any of you done feats?
No.
I don't need any of the rewards. I don't care. You just carry fucking one object from point A to point B. You get a coffer and you live your life. Okay.
Oh, right. So, yeah. All right.
Yeah.
All right.
That and coffee biscuits because I got to make that 75 mil back somehow.
Oh shit.
Oh my god.
Hey, it's 100K a day for coffee biscuits. I'm okay with that.
Oh, that's not so bad.
Yeah, just 6 leave quests, 100K. I'm done. I'll be an honest gillionaire in 40 days.
Hooray.
Hey, that's money. I ain't doing files. I ain't doing fucking files. No way. That shit is way more work. I already don't want to be doing crafting at all. So when people ask me, do you want to go big fishing? Do you want to catch the big fish? I said, no, I fucking hate fishing. I'm here for the title. Don't mistake the means with which I have to obtain this title.
I'm having fun?
I think I'm having fun. You need to see me fish.
You think I'm having fun?
You need to watch me fish, because like I said, most fishing is just yelling at the ocean.
Right.
You're such a masochist, dude.
Almost 1.7 million points. I'm almost at 1.7 million. My life is going to be an empty void when I'm done with this, is what I've learned.
Oh, you'll find something else. You always do.
Yeah.
Triple triad cards, if we still don't know what the reward is.
Oh god, no.
I've started a little bit. I started a little bit on the triple triad cards.
No, don't jump down that rabbit hole for
I was already halfway done. It's the tournaments I don't want to do, but I'm going to have to. Listen, if the reward is something really cool, I'm going to do it. I almost have my land waffle.
It's just going to be another triple triad card, dude. We already
What if
established
it's the triple triad card, triple triad card?
Yeah, we made that joke last week as well.
Did we? Okay.
Nice.
Yeah, we did.
Nice.
All right. It's fine.
Well, that's all I've got.
Yes.
I was about to say it's all I got in my notes. I don't have any notes.
That's like me when I check the time and I do this, and it's like,
you're like, hold on
a
second.
Hold on a second. What time is it?
What time is it? And then you still get it right.
Can you guys remember the last time we had notes for this show?
Yes, Sly made them like 3 weeks ago. You weren't here.
Really? Well done.
He makes them occasionally when he wants.
I make him
some
for
structure.
Aelzivia.
Yeah, we don't get to see those, believe it or not.
No, you don't.
That would probably go
One day we'll get like a one day he'll be a good professor and give us like a little cheat sheet.
Cheat sheet? No
way. By good professor, you mean the professor everyone likes, not the good professor.
Yeah. Yeah, like he'll like right before the exam, he'll give you like, okay, this is what's going to be on the test. Here you go. If you know that, you're going to pass.
Yeah, well, I know it now because I'm reading it.
Yeah, exactly.
We call that I look like a better professor when you get an A.
Exactly. That's not a good professor. That's a professor that has gone, oh shit, I didn't finish the syllabus. Ooh.
All right. Well, with that, we can wrap things up, and then about an hour and a half, I can go get my vaccine shot.
Yeah,
good luck.
Boy.
And congratulations.
I'm glad. I'm happy. Well, yeah. That's still true, I suppose. But anyway, thank you everyone for tuning in to this is Spoilercast Part 1. Now, this is the part of the show everyone skips, where I ask what we want to do for next week for the people who are currently present, because we have a serious dilemma in wondering how to handle Aerzivia. And for anyone wondering why there's silence, It's because it's not up to Sly and I.
Yeah, that's true. Yeah. What do you think, chat? Actually, chat and YouTube comments. Let us know what you think, whether you guys would like to see Aoziva before 5.55 or whether you think we should wait and wait until these two jabronis have basically ejected everything from this patch from their brainiums and give us a perhaps more entertaining, although considerably more frustrating show. Wait, we're seeing a lot of waits. Okay.
Pretty much universal waits. It's funnier to wait.
It is. I will be funny.
That's the most honest answer in the chat.
Okay. Well, okay, we'll wait then. We'll wait. And unless the YouTube comments are so overwhelmingly in support of doing it sooner, I think the plan for now is to wait.
Okay. Well, in that case, I do have an idea for a show next week, Sly. I will DM it to you and I will reach out. I know exactly who I want. I know exactly who I want to bring on. I'm not going to say it here because it's going to spoil the type of show that it is. You can't guess it. It's impossible. It's not that far-fetched, actually, but there's no chance you could guess it. There's nothing to indicate what next week's show is about. But I do plan on having a show next week and not skipping a week.
Okay. Yeah, that's fine. Day? Same day?
Probably same day, yeah.
All right. Yeah, that works.
Does it? Pokemon Snap comes out that day. Don't we have to miss the show for that? No, I'm kidding. We don't need to miss the show for Pokemon Snap. We don't have to.
No, we wouldn't.
No.
Nope.
Oh, man, I have to take a week off for Pokemon Snap.
Oh, boy.
The game will take hours to finish.
The first game literally takes like an hour and a half. The whole game.
Yeah.
Oh, my God. All right. Either way, it'll be good. Okay. So anyway, thanks everyone for tuning in to this week's episode of State of the Realm. We will be back next week. Same bat time, same bat place. I'll actually speak to the guest who I have in mind to see what they have. Sly. I'll confirm if this time is better, if we have to do like more or like OG time or something. So it's a week from today either way. So that means I've now people will ask me a million times when it is. So fuck me, right? Anyway. So with that.
Have fun with that.
Yeah. Thanks everyone for tuning in. Thanks to our sponsor, Steel Series, in the YouTube video description will be a giveaway. And of course there's a discount code if you want to buy yourself something, treat yourself something. Summer's coming up. Maybe you need a new headset, maybe you need something, maybe you get vaccinated, you finally go someplace, you need a new headset, that's, who knows which plans are, just buy my stuff. Anyway, thank you to our, just buy my stuff. So thank you to
just buy my stuff.
Our supporters over on Patreon, whose names, again, I will do my best to force into the YouTube section in the top right, so it doesn't take 6 fucking hours to render the video again. So fingers crossed that happens. So thank you to them. Thank you to our patrons of Darkness, Khuja, Jenova, and Kurenai Oni, who have gone above and beyond with their support over there. Thank you to them big time. And of course, thank you to our 2 lovely guests. Well, Sly's lovely. At the very least.
Am I?
Yeah. One of you is, and it's not him, looking at my Twitch chat right now.
Certainly not me.
So I'll let normally... I guess I should let the lovely guests say where they're going first, but I guess I'll let the non-lovely guests go so we can get them off the screen faster.
Okay.
Yeah.
Oh,
so
wow.
where can they find you at? Ethys.
You guys can find me on mostly Twitch, YouTube, and Twitter. Ethys Asher, Final Fantasy 14 streams and lots of lore content and occasionally some other stuff. It's been a little bit slow for me the past week. I've been a little bit under the weather, but that's not going to continue to be the case indefinitely. So keep an eye on the spaces, and it'll be good to see you all for more whatever the heck we do. Mostly at the moment, we just like sit around and talk about crazy tinfoil hat theories about Endwalker, and you guys all tell me how stupid my ideas are, and I tell you how stupid your ideas are, and it's great. It's good fun. So come join us for that sometime. Okay, what about the handsome one?
Yeah. Sly?
I'm not handsome, but hi, I'm Sly. Find me on Twitch, twitch.tv/Sly, aka Gray Fox, Twitter @Sly the Fox, Patreon, patreon.com/WSOY. new mix out for early access. So if you have early access, go listen.
Hell yeah.
It'll be out for everybody else on Monday. So please look forward to that. Hi. Yeah, I'm just doing this stuff. Oh yeah, I forgot. Next week is the digital event where we finally get to see who the fuck else is coming to Rise.
Yep.
So yeah, that next week's the digital event, so we're gonna watch that and hopefully get a date, which is probably same week. You know, hopefully.
Yeah, when is the digital event? Wednesday?
Yeah, still 27th is a Tuesday. Yes. Tuesday.
Oh, that means so Wednesday night was normally for World, Wednesday night into Thursday.
Yeah.
So we might have it the very next day.
Yeah, we'll see. But yeah, other than that, waiting on RE8. And that's pretty much it. Other handsome one, where can they find you? What are you doing?
That's a stretch.
Yeah.
God.
Yeah, I agree. Look, my fucking hair isn't even cut even. Look at this shit. All right, there you go. Anyway, you can find me, Mr. Happy127, Twitter, Twitch, Instagram, posting lots of food pics. Mel gave me a recipe that she saw the other day where it was garlic, onion, oyster sauce, mirin, tamari, and I'm missing one sauce in there. With that over thinly sliced beef. I did New York strip, like really thinly sliced ones that are like, it looks like Korean barbecue almost. With rice, corn, spring onions. I left the corn out because I just don't want corn in that for any reason. And that was good. Made that. And that's going to be my post-vaccine shot meal because that turned out pretty good.
Sounds good. Man,
Yeah.
oyster sauces.
Yeah, a little bit of oyster sauce. Yeah, it was good. It was like quarter of a cup of oyster sauce. Cook that for like a few minutes, reduce the calories.
Just a little bit.
Well, I mean, it was like a quarter cup of like 4 or 5 different sauces to cook, along with the onions and the garlic, and then the spring onions is the garnish and all that. This is pretty good. Yeah,
That sounds great.
yeah, it was a good time, and I've that's been my hobby outside of streaming. So that's been on my socials a lot. That and Aloha being a dick. Do have Genshin 1.5. Do have Monster Hunter Rise. Do have Pokemon Snap. I actually played Diablo 2's alpha like a week and a half ago, 2 weeks ago. Now I have the Diablo Immortals one on my tablet, which I've been playing off stream. What the hell was that face? And then there's something else I'm forgetting too.
Jealous.
It was good. There's something else I was thinking of that's also next week. I can't remember what it is. Maybe I'm just combining Monster Hunter.
Snap.
Yeah, besides that, I think I'm just combining Monster Hunter Rise and Genshin in my head. So no, not PSO2. PSO2 is literally the worst fucking beta time that's ever existed. Let's the fucking same 3 days as FanFest.
Fucking hell.
And on Windows Store exclusively. And first come, first serve. Well, you know what? You're not serving me. I'm waiting until it releases in June. So there's that. Okay.
Nier's today.
Nier's today. And don't forget, you can buy Nier, and inside will come a reminder that you can play the critically acclaimed MMORPG Final Fantasy XIV, featuring the first expansion with all the available jobs up to level 60.
Oh my god!
It even
Are you
says
sure
so
it
on
doesn't
their
feature
Twitter.
Dante from Devil May Cry?
No, that doesn't come out till later this year, Sly. I don't know when Nocturne comes out.
Actually,
I don't know when Nocturne comes
next
out.
month.
Next month. There you go. There you go. Nocturne's next month.
Remaster comes out next month. May 7th, I think.
Featuring Dante from Devil May Cry.
Yeah.
Memes full circle. And with that, we're going to move into a short post-show, since that is late for where Ethys is, and we will see you next week for the mystery show that I've already planned out, but I need to talk to the guests that I have in mind and see if they can make it. Mystery. Okay. But anyway, we'll see you next week. Okay. Bye-bye, everyone.
Bye.
Take care. Have a great weekend.